So nice to see you this morning. Today is Friday, April 17th, 2020. And this is actually my fifth Friday live stream, 5 weeks. So thanks for tuning in. I did send out a little email to let people know that today and on Sunday, I'm going to talk a little bit about our nervous system, which is, I find, helpful to understand a little bit of how it works and what we're really doing or thinking, and like the input we're putting in really matters. So there's two things that we are all sharing right now, which is we have a nervous system, and we are all part of this pandemic, and part of the orders of like staying at home, or whether your job is an essential job or not. And the nervous system is designed to really pick up all sorts of input in order to then respond. So the input is a wide variety of, just the input of like petting a cat, and what does that feel? How does that affect you when you're just really stopping and petting an animal? Or, what does it feel like when you walk into a grocery store now? What happens? Because that gets into, it's kind of tricky. Like it's kind of something in your gut that's suddenly we get nervous or something when we're just in a grocery store. So I think we have to remember that we are choosing moment to moment how we respond to this vibe around us, in a way, this threat that's around us. And in this practice, then, we're always exploring, how can I then respond to this with wisdom? Or at least, according to the nervous system, respond in a way that doesn't stimulate what's called the sympathetic nervous system. So you may or may not know the anatomy, the details of your nervous system. Maybe you do, but it's also a good reminder, because these are different times of the input or the stimulus that's coming at us. So this sympathetic nervous system is what is stimulated if you're feeling stressed. So if there's, you read the news. If you were to sit and read the news all day, it would probably trigger that sympathetic nervous system. So this is, I'm seeing a little chat off to the side. No, there's not really anything I can do on my end about what's happening on your computer. If anyone else is experiencing something, you can respond in the chat, but if it's not kind of a group experience, then there's not much I can do. Thanks, Leah. You might want to, try just like shutting down that old technique of shutting down your computer and rebooting it in a way. So the sympathetic nervous system, maybe you've heard this phrase, which is fight or flight. The other thing that happens here is fight or flight or freeze. So we get that tension, like, I gotta do something. I gotta, I gotta run. I gotta run away. I gotta, we get just that nervous, like, there's a threat. Um, and if we aren't mindful of this, we can kind of carry that all the time of this, this like, oh my gosh, this threat. And especially when we're being asked to stay at home, it's like, this can really get into that freeze feeling, like I'm frozen, I can't leave my house. And we really become quite chronically, a state of fear, and feeling threatened. This can also come in really small ways where you have that feeling underneath, like, I just want this to be over. I just want this to be over. And it is this little bit of stress that's in there, like, all the time. And that, again, it's going to stimulate that fight, flight, or freeze. So, very naturally, a lot of practices that we do here, yoga, meditation, like, the good news is that what's called the parasympathetic nervous system can be kind of flipped on. Like, we can flip that switch instead. This signals the body then to, like, instead of fight, flight, or freeze, it's going to rest. A key thing that happens here is we digest. So suddenly our whole digestive system is being told, like, it's safe, you can function, you can kind of flow again. So there's rest, digest, and then instead of freezing, that we thaw out, we become a little more fluid. I just think of, like, the digestive system just kind of flowing. And even our emotions, like, they can flow. Emotions are fine. We might feel suddenly sad or grief, and but it just can flow. We can feel it, and that can be just a natural occurring, that everything is just natural. So, I did a little bit of study around this, and one thing I kind of picked out is, like, how do we flip that switch over to the parasympathetic nervous system? And I'm just going to read a list here, and you'll see how it really overlaps with the work that we do. So one thing you can do, the key thing you can do, is called conscious breathing, where, like we do here, and you could start this right now as I talk a little bit more, is just you're knowing, like, oh, I'm breathing, and then you're choosing, I'm going to take, like, a little deeper inhale and a nice complete exhale, and you just keep doing that in a way that you really start to sense inside, just that this slightly deeper breath is comfortable. So conscious breathing. And then the second one is bringing in what is just called a half smile. So the main nerve we're talking about here is called the vagus nerve, and it's very sensitive around, like, even your face, your throat, your chest, and your gut. So when you smile, like, just that little teeny bit, and I've talked about this a lot, I even say, like, smile around your heart. So the third one is actually to kind of stretch and open the space of your chest. And we do that a lot. The fourth one is to get a sense of being grounded. So you're grounding and then kind of stretching. And the word actually is called to pandiculate, which is where you, like, just like, an animal would stretch. You know how you see your dog do this, your cat, they do this. There's a word called to pandiculate. So that can be really effective. And then doing the action of, like, cat and cow that we do. And that's for your belly, to just get space and movement in your belly to kind of unfreeze, signaling yourself, like, it's, Um, I understand the kind of the threat level around me, but I'm not going to overreact to it. I'm just going to open to this moment. Doing something like a meditation or specifically a loving kindness meditation, and we can actually bring that in while we're doing yoga. Practicing deep relaxation techniques. So this is the Sunday class that I teach. At 4 o'clock, you could attend that, and we very intentionally move into a state of deep relaxation. And then there are things like humming. As you get that little vibration of humming. I think of it as it just is, it's movement, rather than being tense and frozen, that this is why there's a lot of like chanting or any kind of singing that you can do can really help. And then there's splashing cold water. I actually haven't really heard of this one before, but cold water like on your face can be effective. And then finally, the last one is just reaching out and connecting. So thanks for connecting here. But then even, just phone calls to people, sharing your story, sharing like, how are you doing right now? So we're going to practice and keep these things in mind. So I'm going to have you start. We're just going to do one little movement here while you're sitting. I know we've been here for a while. So if you're sitting, just start to reach your arms out to your side, and we'll just start that conscious breathing with a little bit of this kind of stretching, pendiculating, and opening the chest. So breathe through your nose if you can. So nice big inhale up, and then the exhale coming down. And as you're doing this is in yoga, it's called samavriti, which means equal breathing. So it's pretty even that your inhale up, your exhale down. But I will repeat that this should feel comfortable, not strained or, I'm trying to do some kind of deep breathing. Maybe close your eyes. Closing your eyes, bringing in that half smile. This can affect the nervous system fairly quickly. That's why they say with conscious breathing that even if you could do it for a minute, that flip can be switched. Keeping the throat really soft and open. Listen to your breath. I find that if I listen to my breath, I'm not so much listening to the chatter in the head that can go on and on as our source of worry. Well, what is worry? Worry is when you make up a story with words. So we're moving away from the words. Get a sense that you're grounded, base of the body, connecting. And then bringing the arms down, just keeping the arms down, and just start to move your head, just kind of side to side, dropping your ear right down towards your shoulder, but while breathing here. So there's strength lifting up through your spine. Maybe even open your mouth a little bit. Kind of move your jaw around. So when we're tense at all, the jaw gets tense. So here we're just moving the jaw. Lift the breastbone. Good. And then as you let this go, we're going to completely let go of seated pose and move right onto your back. So as you lay on your back, it's good to notice that when you lay on your back, very naturally, this is a chest opener. When you lay on your thoracic upper back, it would be really hard to round your back here. If I lay down, in order to round my back, I'd have to like lift my head up. So we're just staying like very neutral through the spine. So it's a little easier to bring in space in the chest. Even reach your arms out to the side if you have space to do that. And then take your legs up, legs reach up. This is that like, little stretch, move your toes, move your feet around. Just in this like, this feels good, this movement. And continue the conscious breathing. So this conscious breathing, you could always touch back to and noticing like I'm not holding my breath. The breath is very fluid. Now start to do any kind of a bicycle movement. Do not hold your breath. Just move your legs. Great big circles. Let's get the legs just circling, moving all over the place. Anywhere. You could keep moving your toes and your feet. It's like you could make this as hard as you want. Good. And then as you let this go, bend the knees, just take feet onto the floor and just reach your right arm up. Again, if you need to wiggle to make space here, you're going to reach up through the right arm. And then extend in any way your right leg also. So right arm, right leg, just reaching, lengthening. This is this very organic kind of stretching. And then you're going to switch. You just let that go. And then that left arm reaching above your head, that left leg reaching out. Just making sure you're not tensing there. This isn't painful at all. So very fluid, organic. Do that again with the right side. So right arm, right leg. Reaching. Breathe to your belly. And then switch again. That left leg, left arm, reaching out, extending. Good. Now let's go ahead and hug the knees into the chest. Just squeeze in. And then roll to one side and bring yourself up onto all fours. And on all fours, let's do that cat and cow movement. So the hands are under your shoulders, the knees are a little bit apart, and arch your back right into that cat pose. Dropping your head down. Really scoop and tuck your tailbone under. And then untuck the tip of the tailbone and let this wave move through your spine into your cow pose. Sense the space in the chest and reaching forward. And then with your breath, you do this back and forth. You exhale and you just squeezing. And then you inhale, you move to cow. Now, as you do this back and forth, close your eyes. Conscious breathing. That little half smile here. And as you keep going, on your exhale, you're going to release with the audible sound, like the humming. Inhale through your nose. Ah. Back and forth. So with that humming, with that ha, that you really sense like a little vibration in your throat. Ah. And then squeezing out of your exhale. Do two more of these. Ah. Ah. And then taking your hands forward a little bit, taking the hips back into your child pose. But this is also real, very organic movement of kind of that pendiculating stretch. And then, like, as you come up, you'll just take your right hand a little to the left, just slightly over, and then reach the hips back again. And then you come up, you walk the hands a little to the right, you take the hips back. Do this again. Walk hands a little to the left. Reach the hips back. As you come up, walk hands over to the right. Take your hands, your arms wherever you want. Just making sure this doesn't suddenly trigger tension. Like, ow, oh, this hurts. And that would be the opposite. And that would be triggering that fight or flight, that tension response. So breathing and feeling the body is opening to this. Now, as you come up, move back to all fours, hands under the shoulders. Let's take the knees together and just do a really big repetition through the legs, where you reach your right leg way back. Keep this nice and open around your throat. And then open that right hip and the right knee and lift the right knee out to the side and then down. And do this in a circular way. You reach the right leg back, you bend the knee, you open to the side, and you just let that leg do this big giant movement here. Get a sense that you feel really stable and grounded as you do this. And again, this is not resulting in you suddenly gripping or tensing as you do this. The breath is really free and fluid, and you can choose that. And then the right knee comes down. Let's just take left leg way back, lengthening, and then open the left hip, bend the knee, lifting up to the side and then down, and just big action. It's good to remember, I'm really just moving and breathing with ease. How can I do this where even the sense of your face is really soft and relaxed? You can tell you're not bristling in any way. So you're able to bring in that half smile. Now, as you let this go, take the hands a little forward again. And as you move to downward facing dog, toes tuck under, you lift up. You could start with your little foot massage, like you're just walking through the feet, waking up, what I would just call like the snake dog, so that your spine is kind of snaky, moving, rather than down dog, we're lengthening the spine, that you let this move around a little bit. Your feet and your legs might move. It might be a little like a cat and cow movement. Good, and then just little steps forward. Push into the feet, come all the way up, bring yourself up to standing. And as you come up to standing, ground your feet. So you're pushing straight down and you're just gonna let the arms really swing here. And then doing even like bigger swings with the arms. So they just do a big, now when they do this, they might cross in front. I like to just let that be, kind of alternating which arm is below. But even here, like strong connection through your feet, through your legs. They're not kind of wobbling all over. Go the other direction with your circles. So you might notice, even though this is very loose and swingy, it's also, there's a lot of strength, that fatigue might come in. Good. So through the feet and the legs, you're going to just start a little bouncy movement here. The feet stay down here at first. And this one you really can take as big as you want. So I'm going to start by lifting my heels. So I'm like kind of pounding with my heels a little bit, and this like jars the body slightly. They're going to feel that. Arms, you may notice the arms are just hanging. And then if you want to, you could jump. And as you're jumping, Leah, this is for you. Ha, and then letting that go. Feet a little wider apart, and then just swing, swing. Breathing, let the body keep breathing. But this is a rotation of your shoulders. It kind of might feel like your chest is looking to the side, looking to the side. But make sure this stays comfortable through your feet. Good. And then releasing that, let it go. And with this position where you could step your feet now wide apart. And as you step wide apart, let's take the feet, just open the feet out to the side a little bit. And then bend the knees. And then straighten the legs. And just explore this. Little squat, lift. Start to, good to start with your feet. Just ground your feet down. And then lift up through your spine. And then reach your arms out. So I'm doing this in a fairly easeful way of, what I'm kind of demanding of my squat, my knees. And make sure, be aware of soles of the feet. Keep an eye on them, or part of your awareness. You can feel that, grounding down, straight down. Good. Now you're going to pause in a little squat. Take the hands to the hips and just start to tilt your pelvis back and forth. So as you do that, you might lift your tailbone and tilt the pelvis forward, like the pelvic bowl was spilling forward. And then you do the opposite. You really tuck the tailbone under. This is going to like pull up and contract your navel. And then do this back and forth. Now, as you're doing this, it's important to notice your throat and your chest, like if you're getting all tight up there. So keeping that nice and open, breathing. Feel the belly, this kind of back and forth. It's the same with that little cat and cow tilt, but we're just doing kind of lower body, pelvis. For the belly. Good. Straighten the legs, toes forward. And then as you step together here, we're going to do some great big sun breaths. Again, with a little bit of sounding. So you're going to reach up, you bring your arms up, you inhale, you might even look up. And then all the way over as you exhale. And if you want to, you can inhale as you come up and the exhale with the any kind of that audible sigh on the exhale. It doesn't have to be any big loud noise or sound. Start to wake up the whole body as you're doing this. So it's a real conscious movement, like legs waking up to keep them straight. The spine is moving. And the next time you're up, you stay up, pause with the arms down. Let's close the eyes and practice being still here for a moment. Half smile. Space in the chest. Now, next what we're going to do is I'm going to have you use a wall if you have a wall available for you. And all that means is I just want to get a little more like a stretch and extending and opening through the arm. So that if you have a wall, you just have your fingertips on the wall. Even demonstrate here. So if you have fingertips, now if you want to, you could take your whole palm on the wall. Or you can notice the difference. How does that feel if you have the palm on the wall, arm is straight, or just fingertips? And then make sure that you're very open across the chest here. So if you're extending, like my left arm is touching the wall, just make sure that you're not sinking the chest, especially the left side of the chest. So we want that extending through the inner arm all the way to your breastbone. Also, you're not lifting your shoulders or your shoulder blades up here. So they're grounding down. Ground your heels. Breathe steady now. Conscious breath. Maybe close your eyes. And just feeling this, like you can position your body where the breath can flow from your your nostrils, like easily to your lungs. And then even that sense of openness down through your arm. This gets so much into connective tissues, fascia, even the nerves themselves. If you don't have a wall, you can actually do this by just reaching your arm out and even possibly like pointing your fingers up. Now, arm comes down and you're going to switch arms. Very straightforward, but being sensitive. I find that it really does, it's a great sensitivity practice. So that, the position you're choosing, if you choose a slightly different position, it might feel like, whoa, that's too much. I can't breathe. It's a lot of sensation. So just that right position. Feel your feet grounding, your heels grounding, lift right up through the center of the body. And as you're reaching through the other arm, whether your palm is on the wall or you're just lifted up on the fingertips, explore that and that sense of openness through the arm, through your shoulder joint, all the way to a space in your chest. And you are not lifting your shoulders, neck is long. Feel rather than thinking about this, just feeling into it. Breathe now steady. Soften your face so you're not in any way tensing and overreacting. Good, bringing that arm down. Now come back to your mat. Come towards the front of the mat. And we're going to start with a little teeny tree pose. So balancing on your right leg. Grounding. Remember to press the base of the big toe down, the right big toe. And as that stays really gummed down, then ground your heels. Or your heel, your inner and outer right heel. Feeling that strength, moving up through the leg, maybe bringing left foot to the inner calf. Stabilize through the pelvis as you lift your pelvic floor straight up. As it lifts straight up, as do the ribs. They lift straight up, possibly arms reach out or arms come up. It's good to not get really tight about this pose. It's a real strong exploration of firmness and strength, and yet kind of a fluidity. Now reach arms out to the side briefly to warrior three. Lift your navel. As you reach your left leg back, you extend your chest forward, lengthening the legs, lengthen the arms, lengthen the spine. And then as you come up, you just place that left foot down. Take plenty of space between your feet as you go to your forward bend. Untuck the tailbone, very important. As it's untucking, you might even kind of roll the pelvis like right over the heels. So you're not letting the butt go way back. Legs are straight up and down. Drop your head. Even let the head, just gonna shake your head here. And then go ahead back to down dog. And in your downward facing dog, be in this pose, taking a deep inhale, and then even some kind of a sigh or this is kind of where our vibration of Om can come in. If you want to, you could Om. 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 Move into your plank pose. Keeping the same little half smile. Onto your belly. So in your own way, lower to the mat. Moving to your cobra pose. And good to sense the space in your chest here. You're not tensing. The skin on your face is relaxed and soft. Reaching back through your toes. And then as you let go here, use your arm strength to push back up, back to down dog. So the very tops of the thighs press back here. Now lightly touch your knees down and move to all fours. So hands are under your shoulders, take knees close together, and we're going to reach the right leg way back. Reach your chest forward. We're going to do this little combo of these leg kicks that also can be done with this nice deep conscious breath. So here you're going to inhale through your nose, and then as you exhale, just pulling together, like knee to your forehead, and then that inhale through your nose, leg goes back, exhale, inhale, leg back, as you exhale, a squeeze. Try not to force anything. Just let this be just a real natural flow of breath. Move to the other side. That right knee comes down, left leg goes back. Grow the awareness of your whole body here. No strain. And then that left knee comes down. You move right back to your downward facing dog. Pour the weight into the base of your fingers. Briefly lift your heels way up and reach your pelvis way back. Reach your heels down, move into that nice deep calf stretch. As you reach your heels down, your quads engage. Your thighs, actually press your thigh bones back. Come to standing. Push into the feet, come all the way up. As you come up, you reach your arms up. And in this kind of a morning stretch way, you're just going to reach up through one arm. And then you reach up through the other arm. You just go back and forth here. So, attuning to your felt experience here. Where do you want to reach? You could even reach more out to the side here. If reaching up feels like a little too intense for your shoulders. Good. Now, as you let this go, as you bring your arms down, let's again take maybe face the side so you can step your feet wide apart. We're going to practice going from our warrior two pose right to warrior one, and almost like a little study of warrior two, and then what happens, where do we face, what do we do when we're going to warrior one pose. So step the feet wide apart, take your right foot open to the right, and then make sure left toes point in slightly and start to bend your right knee. So this is warrior two. As you bend the knee, the right leg or left leg straightens and you extend your arms. And just move now into your body. So let your body be your teacher here. So I'm just giving you basic instructions, and then you get to play with actual positioning of how wide apart your feet are, feeling that lift of your pelvic floor, the lift up through your spine here, and then conscious breathing. This pose, it does look, you're rotating your head to look towards that bent knee. The reason that we stay and breathe a little bit is to get into that, the full body breathing, and that the mind actually settles here. It calms down, even as you're working. Now I'm going to have you reach your arms up. And you're going to rotate your chest and your shoulders to face the right side, face that bent leg. And as you do that, you might notice you have to reposition your back foot. So I like to take, taking that back left foot and point the toes a bit more forward. So now my whole pelvis is pointing towards my right. Straighten the back leg. In warrior one, in this pose, now through your legs and through you might feel your thighs, they actually internally rotate a little bit. You keep lifting the floor of the pelvis and straightening the back leg. Trying not to really hoist up the shoulders here. Space in your chest. Briefly straighten the right leg, bring the arms down. Keeping the arms down, we're going to go back to warrior two again, just to study here. Start by opening your left foot a little bit. And then rebend the right knee, but face your shoulders to the left. So it's that like shoulder action that's so different in these two poses. The legs are virtually doing the same thing. I'm bending my right knee. I'm keeping my left leg straight. Extend your arms. Reaching. Remember how we did this at the wall? Like you reach out. Take your fingers up. Stay wide across the chest. Move your hands around here. Move your fingers. Keeping your throat soft. So you're not like overreacting, tensing your throat. Good, we reach the arms up. Now you have to face that bent knee. So you have to shift the back foot. Warrior one. Grounding that back left heel, lift up to the spine. Good. Now, as you let go, just take hands down on either side of that right foot. Step back to your down dog. Nice deep breath here. Push into the floor, slowly to your plank, onto your belly. You can move to cobra pose. You can move to a different. You want to take that little locust pose. You lift up here. Lift the legs. You reach your arms back. As long as this doesn't suddenly flip that switch where you're really stressed out in your yoga pose. So making sure, even if it's a lot of work, that you're not tensing. Move to your down dog. Breathe, and then from your down dog, you'll just take little steps, maybe to the center of your mat and come all the way up. Step the feet wide. So we'll do this on your left side. Step wide, warrior two, open, left foot to the left, right toes in, little bend, left knee. So make sure as you're bending that you're also like right away, there's that lift up to the spine, lift your pelvis, extend your arms. And pay attention, like, well, how does this side feel? Space in your chest, conscious breathing, and how you could choose to listen to your breath, maybe steady the breath, bring in your little half smile, maybe a full smile. Pay attention to the soles of the feet. Are your toes digging in for dear life? Like, oh, I could open to the soles of my feet. And now as you bring your arms up, you're gonna face that left leg. And as you do that, that right leg, you have to shift your toes, the foot, so that it points towards the left a little more. Really ground that back heel. Lift the pelvic floor. Breathing and feeling, really sensing in. Is there anywhere I'm straining here? And then as the arms come down, straighten left leg. Moving into warrior two again. So you can take your shoulders face the right. That back right foot has to open slightly. Warrior two, bend the left knee. Start with your feet. So there's that sensitive positioning. Extend the arms. So this is a real study of this quality within, moment to moment. I mean, in a way, my wish is that, this is hard. This is physically hard work. Don't be fooled if you think that I make it look easy. I am working here and sweating. But with a half smile. Warrior two, sense the whole body arranging itself. So, yeah, this works. This is just the right amount of work. Warrior one, reach the arms up, kind of facing the left. Your shoulders, your chest, your breastbone face the left, and then the hips start to even face the left. Waves of breath. Keep connected to the feet, grounding down, lifting up. Straighten the back leg. And then you fold over, your hands come down. You step right back to your down dog. And then with that nice steady flow, move to your plank. And then move to your down dog. Stay grounded as you move back and forth. Plank to down dog. And right here, if it feels like you want to even do a little more work here, or it's kind of your own practice, your own time, what you do with this. Plank and down dog, or reach your right leg up. Inhale, and then as you exhale, you bring the knee into the chest. You squeeze here. Inhale, the leg goes up. Exhale, you squeeze in. Breathing, if you want to, you can really squeeze out that exhale. If you feel like you want to take a break in child pose, you do that. Moving to left leg, that right foot goes down, left leg back. Now, from your down dog, you're just gonna let the knees touch down, go to your child pose. Feel free to take the knees wider apart. Just fold over here. So as you come up, we're gonna do just kind of our, what I call like the easy seated twist. So lean back and just take your feet kind of wide apart here. Start by just dropping your knees back and forth, very loose. So today, it's like, I don't think I'm really mirroring you here. So I'm going to go to my right side. It doesn't matter which side you go to. I'm going to drop knees to my right. And then the left hip, you're going to lift up the left hip here. And then start to grow and lengthen the spine as you twist back. I'm just going to let my left hand drop onto my right knee. Breathe, feel as the spine both lengthens, kind of grows as you twist. Taking your hands, your fingers wherever you want, little adjustments. So you breathe and feel. Like you're decreasing the thinking and you're increasing the feeling into this. What does the spine feel like as you're twisting? Untwist. As you come back to the front, it's kind of neutral in the center, and then knees drop to the left. And you really have to lift this top hip so that aligns through your hip, through your thigh, and important then for your lower back. So that when you lift your chest, you lift the ribs. You twist gradually back. So as the breath is really fluid and flowing here, don't be surprised when you practice if you kind of open the gates of different like memories come up or images come up, and let it be fluid. There can be all sorts of stuff that comes out of nowhere, and just let it rise and pass. But bring awareness then back to your breath. Like, oh yeah, I'm consciously breathing. Conscious breathing means that you're sensing and feeling every inhale and every exhale. Aware of your spine twisting. And then as you let this go, as you back towards the front, again, just let the knees drop a little back and forth. So I'm going to have you take just a seated pose here for a moment, and feel free to grab, like if you have a cushion to sit on or something, because I do want to just get into the breathing part of this. Just a couple techniques. So you could sit in a way where you're grounded, like right and left side evenly. You're not tilting or hiking one hip up. Lift up through the sides of the body. Close your eyes. And start with a nice, complete exhale. So exhale, exhale, exhale. And as you kind of squeeze out your exhale, you don't sink down at all. You actually keep the length through your spine. And then allow the body to fill with the inhale. And then just slowly releasing into that exhale. So in this way, you're kind of working this, especially felt around that exhale. You squeeze. And as you inhale, what's happening as your inhale is it's the diaphragm that's actually contracting. And we don't usually feel that. It's virtually impossible to really feel that sheath of the diaphragm. But when you exhale, when you squeeze, this is a lot more of these breathing muscles that we feel contracting. Now you might feel as you inhale the lower ribs, how they expand. And this is due to the diaphragm kind of contracting and opening the rib cage. And then that exhale, to squeezing out. It's good to even just let go of any idea of what muscles you're using. To make sure that there's this easeful quality. Imagine like the whole body is a big sponge that you're just soaking in that inhale. And just like a sponge, you just squeeze out the exhale. Can you keep the face really calm and soft? I'm just soaking and squeezing. Can be good. You might notice through the class of a natural response of swallowing. Like that's really good to get just that cleansing of the throat. What does it feel like to be upright, aligning through your spine all the way to your brain, bringing in spaciousness, a sense of inner freedom and fluidity. Even the eyes, that space around your eyes, the eyes are not like being intensified, and we often carry a lot of stress around the eyes that goes overlooked. And we can choose. Like this is what we're learning here is how to choose to free yourself of tension. And it might lead to a very natural little half smile. Go ahead and release this and just move right onto your back. And as you recline, I'm going to move right into shavasana. If it feels appropriate, you could always start with half shavasana, is where you lay on your back, but you bend your knees and you keep your feet on the floor. Please make sure that you can completely drop your head without any pain through your neck. When you practice at home like this, you might be learning how to keep props around you that your body needs in order to let go into shavasana. Take 3 deep breaths. So that conscious, I'm breathing in, and pay attention to the letting go on the exhale. Like you're putting everything down. So the body now is motionless. Be aware of the skin on your face. And simply notice, could you soften the skin? Or just drop the weight of the head again. Do this knowingly. I'm dropping the weight of my head. Allow the back of the neck to soften. And then just sense now the space around the chest and your throat. Bring your full awareness into the body. Bring awareness around the space of your stomach. And if you want to, you can actually place your hand around your stomach or your heart or your belly. So in that same way that you might, pet a cat, you just have this same energetic connection as you feel like your belly. Again, you don't have to do that with your hand, but if it feels like, oh, that works for soothing and it's a deeper connection to the belly, sensing into areas that, oh, maybe there is some hardening or tension there. Didn't really notice it. Feel, you reconnect to the breath and notice how the breath, it's always there, this wave moving through the body. Dropping the weight of the legs. It's good to practice shavasana. The mind is very alert. It's fascinated by this ability to deeply connect. And how this whole practice has been the practice of loving kindness and a remembering. So deeply care about this heart, this mind and body. We deeply care about this world. As you keep this heart open, you will benefit all beings. Feel the breath moving through the body, naturally sweeping away any tension. And this creates space. Space for wisdom to come in. So a good way now to start to let go away of this pose of shavasana and transition is to start kind of that pendiculating, where I call this like just a morning stretch. It could start small, it could be that little movement of your fingers, or as you start to just maybe stretch or reach through the arms or one leg, and you might see how this like, oh, it like brings in that deeper breath. So breathe through your nose and start to move and just feel this whole energy just starting to reconnect to the world, and like this balanced state, this balance of energy and groundedness as you bring yourself back to seated pose. Always sensing the earth, the grounding, and that you have this choice then of like, oh, lifting up, bringing space around your heart. So this physical, just the physical positioning of the body, can help immensely. So it's time to close. So we're going to take palms together in front of the heart, keeping the softness in the throat. And continue to just grow your awareness. What happens if you want to join in? I'm going to end with the sound of Om. Taking a deep inhale. With deep gratitude for these teachings, for all of our teachers, how they've really passed on this quality of loving kindness and care for all beings, that these teachings are for the benefit and the liberation of all beings. May we be free of tension. May our hearts be light. So thank you for being here. And I just like to, at the end here, to just leave a little time if you want to put a little comment on the live chat area. It's kind of sweet to have people just check in if you want to say hi or leave any thoughts or feedback at all. You can do that. I'll also remind you that if you want to, you can give back and donate for these live stream classes. I just think it's a really wonderful gift that these classes are now, they're on the Common Ground channel, and you can watch them at any time. So do it. And if you want to donate, you could just go to the Common Ground website. Very easy to find. You found this, so you'll be able to find the Common Ground website and just find where it says ways to give back or how to donate. So there, you can do online donation. There's the address if you want to send a check. And it is helpful, like if you want part of your donation to go to me, it will prompt you to say, is there a teacher, that you want your donation to go towards? So you could say, yeah, Nancy Boler. And then part of that goes to me, part of it goes to Common Ground. And as a reminder too, this Sunday, I'm going to continue with this awareness of our nervous system on Sunday. And I'll get into maybe a little deeper explanation of how that vagus nerve runs through the body and the importance of that particular nerve. I think especially in this time of just like really kind of hypersensitivity and the importance then of practicing like, hey, wait a minute, in this moment, I can really bring in a wise connection to what's happening around me. And it's true, this is in any circumstance. Whether you are, dealing with your work in some way, of you're doing some kind of distance at home work, or whether you're out there on the front line, you're a healthcare worker. May these teachings really benefit you so that you can stay connected, the heart can be compassionate, but grounded. That our feelings can flow. We can feel the love around us, even if you're at home alone, if you live alone. So, thanks for all the comments, everyone. I'm going to sneak up and read them. Maybe a few of them. And I can just leave this open too if you want to drop a comment in. It's really nice to see so many of you joining in. Really, really warms my heart and keeps me really keeps me going. Um, yeah. If you have another comment, if you want to, you can always send me an email. Just send it directly. Um, you can go to my website at boleryoga.com. You can send it through there. You can send it to me at Nancy at boleryoga.com. Um, and if you go to my website, there's also more yoga there. There's more downloadable stuff there. Ah, so, I think I'm going to end it here, but you have a beautiful day, and so great to see these little comments coming in. Yeah, and I will say too, Jim, thank you so much to Common Ground. Um, there are, if you're appreciating the yoga classes here, but now can be a really good time also to tune in to some of the meditation classes that are offered on the Common Ground page also. I've found them just so great to be able to just click and listen to those when I have time to do that. So, wishing you a wonderful practice. Love you all.